From WFRV TV Local 5, your local election headquarters, this is Newsmaker Sunday with your host, Tom Zaleski.
Good morning. Welcome to Newsmaker Sunday. I'm Tom Zaleski. Today, we discuss the Wisconsin economy and the skyrocketing unemployment rate in our state. The numbers, they're staggering. In March, before the coronavirus pandemic forced the safer-at-home order, the state's unemployment rate was just 3.1%. The very next month, April, the unemployment rate jumped to 14.1%. The Department of Workforce Development reports more than 577,000 Wisconsinites have applied for unemployment insurance since March the 15th. Well, Jim Golembeski is with the Green Bay Area Workforce Development, and he joins us now. Jim, thanks so much for joining us this morning. What are you seeing out there? Things are starting to reopen with restrictions. Do you see things getting better as we end this month of May and enter June?
Well, I've been at this 30 years, Tom, and it's like nothing I've ever seen. But to answer your question, yes, things are getting better. We're seeing some people go back to work. Little by little. The unemployment numbers are still very, very high, and there's really two kinds of unemployed people. There are people who will go back to their jobs, and I think of people like the wonderful woman who cuts my hair, who I need to see, and also people in my dentist's office. But there are other people who are furloughed, and sometime in the next month and probably 2 months, we're going to see a lot of people who are on furlough, I think, become permanently displaced from their jobs.
So, Jim, how is your organization working to help these people find jobs, those who were laid off or furloughed related to the closings?
Well, we're really not doing that much. Mostly, we're used to rushing in whenever there's a large plant closing or a large dislocation. And we just haven't had that, although one showed up on the screen today from Sheboygan. But most people have been notified that they've been furloughed. So they're getting their unemployment, they don't have to do a job search, and they're kind of waiting to see what happens next. And I would always encourage anybody on furlough to start taking a look around and see what kind of things they might be doing.
So, Jim, what are the business owners telling you about the job market? What are they seeing happening?
Well, in our major sectors, and so I'm going to talk about manufacturing and construction in particular, they are hiring rather robustly. In fact, in this latest issue of Insight on Manufacturing that just came out this week on page 12, there's a whole list of area companies who are hiring right now. And the same thing goes for the construction industry. So there's a lot of hiring going on in the middle of this. And what we're trying to do is move people from those lower end jobs where they're making, say, $10 or $11 an hour into thinking about these higher end jobs where they're making $16, $17, $18 an hour.
So what advice do you have, Jim, for the person sitting at home right now watching this program? They are laid off or they are furloughed. What should their next step be?
Well, if you're in a job that, let's say, is a professional position, so you're a dental hygienist or you're a hairstylist, you're probably going to go back to your job. But if you're in some of those lower paying industries, let's say in the hospitality service industries, I'm thinking even of people in the child care, daycare industry, and you're making that $10, $11, $12 an hour, maybe you want to start looking around at this point and see what kind of career opportunities there might be in some of these industries where you're going to get up into that higher pay range. What we're seeing, excuse me, and there was a good story on a radio show the other day. Let's say I'm working in a daycare setting and I'm making $10 an hour. Well, that's $400 a week. I get furloughed. I'm on unemployment now, getting $240 an hour, or $240 a week from Wisconsin unemployment. The federal government's kicking in an extra $600, so now I'm making $850 or $840 a week, where I was making $400 by working. And obviously, some of our businesses are starting to complain about that situation. But it raises a number of issues about maybe some people need to do some additional career planning maybe we need to start paying the child care, daycare workers more than we have in the past. It's a very strange situation in many cases. But this is a great opportunity for anybody who's furloughed to take some time to study the economy, take a look at what kind of jobs are available, and ask themselves, how can I improve my career and economic situation?
Jim Golombeski, Bay Area Workforce Development, thank you so much for joining us today, Jim. Thanks again. When we come back, we talk with a substitute teacher who is waiting, and she has waited for a long time, for her unemployment benefits. We'll talk with her next. Stay with us.